Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with this. Life has a way of testing us, doesn't it? It pushes us, stretches us, takes us to the edge. And sometimes it does so with a fire so fierce, so unrelenting, it feels as if the very ground beneath us is giving way. That's what happened here. Fire fury, the kind of fire that doesn't just burn forests and homes, but burns through the spirit of a nation. The kind of fire that takes and takes until you think there's nothing left to give. And yet, here you stand. Here we stand. This wildfire wasn't just nature's fury. It was a reckoning. It was a wake-up call. It reminded us that the world we walk on, the air we breathe, the trees that shelter us, they aren't invincible. They demand our respect, our care. And when we forget that, nature reminds us in the most brutal ways. End quote. But let me tell you something. Fire, as destructive as it is, also does something extraordinary. It reveals what's beneath. It tests what we're made of. And when that fire roared through, it didn't just reveal the fragility of wood or stone, it revealed the strength of people. We saw firefighters charging into infernos, knowing full well the dangers ahead. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, strangers becoming family. We saw humanity rise, even when the flames tried to pull us down. And you, yes, you are a part of that strength. Because let me tell you, resilience isn't just a fancy word we throw around. It's a choice. It's a decision to rise up when the world knocks you down. It's saying, this fire might take my home, my comfort, but it will not take my hope. But hope alone isn't enough. Hope is the spark. Action is the fire. This moment right here, this tragedy, this challenge, it's not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where we learn, where we rebuild, smarter, stronger, better. A chapter where we stop taking the gift of this earth for granted. The road ahead won't be easy. Rebuilding never is. Healing never is. But just like steel is forged in fire, so too are we. We're not just survivors of this fire, we're warriors of the aftermath. And warriors don't just endure, they rebuild, they thrive. So today, I challenge you to carry that fire within you. Not the one that destroys, but the one that inspires. The fire that says, I will make a difference, whether it's by planting a tree, volunteering your time, or fighting for policies that protect our planet. Whatever it is, do it with the fire of purpose. Because the flames may have burned down the walls, but they didn't burn down our will. They didn't burn down our love for one another. And they will never, never burn down our hope for a better tomorrow. It's just the wildfire that swept through America, marking its place as the worst in history, was an event of unparalleled devastation. Its scale was nothing short of apocalyptic, with flames that stretched across vast landscapes, consuming everything in their path. Entire towns were reduced to ashes, their streets once bustling with life now silent, shrouded in smoke and despair. Thousands of families were left displaced, their homes and belongings gone in an instant, leaving behind only memories and the bitter sting of loss. The destruction was not limited to structures. It claimed lives, ripping loved ones away and leaving scars that may never heal. This wildfire was a force of nature that defied imagination. It tore through forests, annihilating centuries-old trees and disrupting ecosystems that had thrived for generations. Wildlife that once roamed freely now faced decimation, their habitats obliterated in the inferno. The smoke from the fire spread for miles, creating an environmental catastrophe that affected air quality, health, and even weather patterns. The skies darkened, and the air carried the haunting scent of burning wood and despair. The economic toll was equally staggering. Businesses were destroyed, livelihoods were lost, and the cost of rebuilding soared into billions. Roads, bridges, and essential infrastructure were left in ruins, cutting off communities and delaying emergency responses. It wasn't just a wildfire. It was a crisis that exposed vulnerabilities at every level. personal, communal, and systemic. Yet the devastation was more than physical. It struck at the very core of human resilience, testing the strength of those who faced it head-on. Families watched helplessly as their homes were consumed. Firefighters battled tirelessly against the seemingly unstoppable blaze, risking their lives to save others. The emotional toll was immeasurable, as survivors grappled with grief, fear, and uncertainty about the future. This wildfire will forever be remembered as a moment when nature's fury reached its zenith, serving as a stark reminder of the immense power of the elements and the fragility of the world we inhabit. It challenged our perception of safety and forced us to confront the consequences of environmental neglect and unpreparedness. The scars it left behind, both on the land and in the hearts of people, will serve as a somber testament to the scale and impact of this unparalleled disaster. In the face of unimaginable destruction, the wildfire revealed an equally extraordinary force: human resilience. It is often during the darkest moments that the most profound examples of courage, determination, and unity come to light. The fire, fierce and unrelenting, tested the strength of individuals, families, and entire communities. Yet time and time again, humanity proved itself capable of enduring and rising above even the most devastating circumstances. As the wildfires spread, countless stories of bravery began to emerge. Firefighters became the frontline heroes, stepping into the inferno with unwavering resolve. These men and women worked grueling hours in conditions most would consider unbearable. The searing heat, dense smoke, and unpredictable winds posed constant threats, but their focus never wavered. Armed with nothing but their training, equipment, and an unyielding spirit, they put their lives at risk to protect others. They battled not just the flames, but their own exhaustion, fueled by a mission to save lives and preserve what they could. Communities also demonstrated incredible resilience. Families who lost everything, their homes, possessions, and sense of security, found strength they never knew they had. Parents reassured their children even as they fought back tears, and neighbors extended helping hands despite facing their own hardships. Shelters quickly filled with people who, though they had nothing left, shared whatever they could to support those around them. Acts of kindness multiplied, with volunteers from all over the country traveling to offer aid, bringing supplies, medical assistance, and moral support to those in need. Even those directly in harm's way displayed extraordinary resolve. Residents, given only minutes to evacuate, acted decisively to save loved ones and pets, making life or death decisions under unimaginable pressure. Some stayed behind to assist those unable to leave, while others worked tirelessly to guide emergency responders to the most critical areas. Their courage, in the face of overwhelming danger, became a beacon of hope for those around them. Resilience also emerged in the quiet strength of recovery. In the aftermath, as the ashes settled and the scale of destruction became clear, the determination to rebuild began to take shape. Survivors did not dwell on what was lost, but focused on what could be restored. They came together to clear debris, support local businesses, and advocate for resources to aid recovery efforts. Communities launched fundraisers, organized relief efforts, and found creative ways to support one another, demonstrating that even in the face of tragedy, the human spirit remains unbreakable. This resilience wasn't confined to those directly affected. Across the nation, people were moved by the plight of those impacted by the fire, and they rallied in support. Donations poured in, from essential supplies to financial assistance, as individuals, corporations, and organizations joined forces to help those in need. The shared determination to overcome tragedy became a unifying force, inspiring countless acts of generosity and compassion. Through the flames and the aftermath, human resilience proved to be a powerful counterbalance to devastation. It reminded us all that while we cannot always control the forces of nature, we can control how we respond to them. With strength, courage, and an unwavering commitment to stand together in the face of adversity. The wildfire, as devastating as it was, stands as a stark reminder of the delicate balance that exists within the environment and the catastrophic consequences of its disruption. The scale of ecological destruction caused by this disaster was unprecedented, with long-term implications for the natural world that go far beyond the immediate devastation. The fire did not merely destroy, it reshaped landscapes, altered ecosystems, and exposed the vulnerabilities of the environment under human influence. The forests, which had stood for centuries as guardians of biodiversity, were reduced to charred remnants. Towering trees that had withstood storms, droughts, and the passage of time fell victim to the relentless blaze. These forests were not merely collections of trees, but vibrant ecosystems, home to countless species of flora and fauna. The fire tore through this delicate web of life, leaving behind a barren wasteland. Birds, mammals, and insects were displaced, their habitats obliterated. Many perished, unable to escape the intensity of the flames. For those that survived, the challenge of finding food, shelter, and safety in the aftermath became a daily struggle. The damage extended beyond the immediate loss of vegetation and wildlife. The soil, scorched by the heat, lost its ability to retain nutrients, becoming less fertile and more prone to erosion. Without the protective cover of trees and underbrush, rainwater washed away topsoil, further degrading the land. Rivers and streams, once teeming with life, became clogged with ash and debris, disrupting aquatic ecosystems and contaminating water supplies. The ripple effects of this environmental crisis spread far and wide, affecting not only the natural world, but also the communities and economies that depended on these resources. The wildfire also served as a stark indicator of the broader environmental challenges facing the planet. The scientists and environmentalists were quick to point out the connections between such extreme events and the ongoing climate crisis. Rising global temperatures, prolonged droughts, and erratic weather patterns have created conditions that make wildfires more frequent, more intense, and harder to control. This disaster was not an isolated incident, but part of a troubling trend that underscores the urgent need for collective action to address environmental degradation and climate change. Air quality was another significant casualty of the fire. The thick plumes of smoke that rose into the atmosphere carried particulate matter and harmful chemicals, posing severe health risks to people in the affected regions and beyond. The haze spread across states, dimming the skies and creating a haunting visual reminder of the disaster's reach. This atmospheric impact highlighted the interconnectedness of environmental systems, where an event in one location can have far-reaching consequences for air quality, weather, and even global climate patterns. Despite the devastation, the wildfire also presented an opportunity to reflect on humanity's role in the stewardship of the environment. It reminded us of the fragility of natural systems and the consequences of neglecting them. It underscored the importance of sustainable practices, reforestation efforts, and proactive measures to reduce the risk of such disasters. The fire's fury was a harsh lesson, but it was also a call to action, a demand that we recognize the urgency of protecting the planet and work toward a future where such tragedies are no longer inevitable. The wildfire was not only a disaster of unprecedented proportions, but also a sobering lesson in the importance of preparedness. It exposed gaps in existing infrastructure, emergency response systems, and community readiness, highlighting how critical it is to proactively address vulnerabilities before disaster strikes. The fire's ferocity served as a stark reminder that we must be equipped to confront the growing challenges posed by natural disasters, particularly as they intensify in the face of climate change. One of the most evident shortcomings was the lack of adequate infrastructure to withstand and respond to such a massive wildfire. Roads, bridges, and communication networks crumbled under the pressure, leaving entire communities isolated and emergency responders struggling to reach the areas most in need. Evacuation routes, in many cases, were insufficient or poorly maintained, leading to traffic jams and delays that cost precious time. And these bottlenecks revealed the urgent need for investment in resilient infrastructure that can not only survive such events, but also facilitate swift evacuations and response efforts. Emergency response systems, while heroic in their execution, were stretched to their breaking point. Firefighters and first responders worked tirelessly, often without the necessary resources to combat a wildfire of this scale. Equipment shortages, inadequate water supplies, and insufficient personnel hindered their ability to contain the blaze and protect communities. This tragedy highlighted the necessity of increasing funding, training, and resources for emergency services, ensuring they are equipped to handle disasters of increasing magnitude. Public awareness and community preparedness also proved to be critical areas needing improvement. Many residents were caught off guard with little to no time to evacuate safely. The lack of clear and timely communication about the fire's progression left people scrambling for information and uncertain about the best course of action. This underlined the importance of developing robust early warning systems and comprehensive evacuation plans tailored to the unique needs of each community. Regular drills, public education campaigns, and the use of modern technology to disseminate real-time updates can play a pivotal role in ensuring that people are ready to act swiftly and effectively when disaster strikes. Wildfire also emphasized the significance of adopting proactive measures to reduce the risk of such catastrophes. Controlled burns, forest thinning, and better land management practices are essential to mitigating the potential for wildfires to escalate. In many cases, the accumulation of dry vegetation and debris created a perfect fuel source for the fire, enabling it to spread rapidly and uncontrollably. Implementing preventative measures guided by scientific research and local expertise can help create fire-resilient landscapes that reduce the likelihood of future disasters reaching such devastating proportions. The lessons learned from this wildfire extend beyond the immediate response and recovery. They call for a shift in mindset, recognizing that preparedness is not a one-time effort but an ongoing commitment. It requires collaboration between governments, communities, scientists, and individuals to create systems that prioritize resilience and safety. By investing in proactive strategies and addressing the weaknesses revealed by this tragedy, we can work toward a future where such catastrophic events are met with readiness and resilience, minimizing their impact on lives, property, and the environment. Amid the devastation and chaos caused by the wildfire, one of the most inspiring aspects was the profound sense of unity that emerged from adversity. In the face of an unparalleled disaster, the true strength of community and human connection came to the forefront. Strangers became allies, neighbors became family, and a collective spirit of solidarity transcended boundaries, reminding us of the extraordinary power of coming together during times of crisis. As the wildfire spread and consumed everything in its path, it became evident that survival and recovery would depend on mutual support. In the immediate aftermath, countless acts of heroism and kindness were witnessed. Neighbors checked on each other, offering rides, shelter, and food to those in need. People opened their homes to evacuees, providing a safe haven for those who had lost everything. Shelters filled with volunteers who worked tirelessly to ensure that no one went without basic necessities. These efforts were not driven by obligation, but by an innate desire to help, to comfort, and to rebuild lives. The unity extended beyond the affected regions as well. From across the country, individuals and organizations mobilized to provide aid. Donations poured in, ranging from essential supplies like food, water, and clothing, to financial contributions that supported relief and rebuilding efforts. Volunteers from different states traveled to assist with cleanup, rescue operations, and community rebuilding projects. The wildfire became a national cause, uniting people from all walks of life under a common purpose, to bring hope and healing to those who needed it most. First responders, firefighters, and emergency personnel embodied this spirit of unity through their selfless dedication. Despite the dangerous and grueling conditions, they worked side by side, often pushing themselves to their physical and emotional limits. These men and women became symbols of resilience and sacrifice, their teamwork and commitment serving as an inspiration to all who witnessed their efforts. Their actions demonstrated the power of collaboration and the importance of standing together in the face of overwhelming odds. Community organizations, local businesses, and schools also played a vital role in fostering this sense of togetherness. Small businesses donated supplies, schools organized fundraisers, and local leaders coordinated relief efforts to ensure resources were distributed efficiently. Social media became a powerful tool for connection, with people sharing information, offering assistance, and spreading messages of hope. This collective action showed how, even in the most challenging times, communities can unite to overcome hardship and pave the way for recovery. The wildfire also revealed the deep reservoirs of compassion within individuals. Stories of people rescuing animals, offering emotional support to strangers, and prioritizing the well-being of others over their own comfort became testaments to the unbreakable human spirit. These acts of kindness served as beacons of hope, reminding everyone that even in the face of destruction, humanity's capacity for empathy and solidarity shines brightly. Unity in adversity does more than just provide immediate relief. It lays the foundation for long-term recovery and resilience. By standing together, people not only address the immediate challenges, but also rebuild stronger and more connected communities. The wildfire's fury may have left scars, but the unyielding spirit of togetherness it inspired will forever stand as a testament to the power of human connection and collective strength. The wildfire was not merely a natural disaster. It was a glaring call to action, urging individuals, communities, and governments to confront the harsh realities of environmental neglect and the growing impact of climate change. The ferocity of the flames, the destruction they wrought, and the widespread aftermath served as a wake-up call, demanding urgent and decisive measures to prevent such catastrophes from becoming a recurring nightmare. At the heart of this call to action is the undeniable link between climate change and the increasing frequency and intensity of wildfires. Rising global temperatures, prolonged droughts, and erratic weather patterns have created conditions where wildfires can ignite and spread with devastating efficiency. This disaster underscored the urgency of addressing climate change as a global priority. It is no longer a distant threat. It is a present danger with tangible and devastating consequences. Governments, corporations, and individuals must recognize the critical need for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, transitioning to renewable energy sources, and adopting sustainable practices to mitigate the impact of climate change on the environment. Land management practices also emerged as a key area for reform. The wildfire revealed how decades of neglect, coupled with outdated policies, had allowed an accumulation of dry vegetation and debris, ideal fuel for a fire of such magnitude. Implementing proactive measures such as controlled burns, forest thinning, and improved land use strategies is essential to reducing the risk of wildfires. These practices not only protect natural ecosystems, but also safeguard communities by creating buffer zones and reducing the intensity of potential fires. Such efforts require collaboration between environmental scientists, policymakers, and local communities to ensure they are both effective and sustainable. On a community level, the wildfire highlighted the importance of preparedness and resilience. This disaster served as a stark reminder that waiting for tragedy to strike is not an option. Communities must invest in early warning systems, robust emergency response plans, and public education campaigns to ensure residents are equipped to act quickly and effectively when faced with disasters. From creating evacuation routes to conducting regular drills, proactive measures can save lives and minimize damage. Governments at all levels have a responsibility to allocate resources for these initiatives, ensuring that even the most vulnerable communities are not left behind. Corporate responsibility also plays a critical role in this call to action. Businesses, particularly those in industries that impact the environment, must adopt sustainable practices and contribute to the broader effort to combat climate change. From reducing carbon footprints to investing in green technologies, corporations have the power to drive significant change. They also have a moral obligation to support affected communities through disaster relief efforts and long-term recovery initiatives. Individual action is equally vital. The wildfires show that every person has a role to play in safeguarding the environment. Simple choices, reducing energy consumption, supporting sustainable products, planting trees, and advocating for environmental policies can collectively make a significant impact. This disaster reminded us that the fight against climate change requires collective action on every level. By heeding this call to action, humanity can work toward a future where such tragedies are not an inevitability but a lesson from the past, inspiring progress and resilience. The wildfire, while devastating, has underscored an essential truth. Innovation and technology can play a transformative role in disaster prevention, response, and recovery. It revealed both the shortcomings in current systems and the vast potential for leveraging modern advancements to protect lives, mitigate damage, and build a more resilient future. This disaster became a rallying point for embracing innovation as a critical tool in the face of increasingly frequent and severe natural calamities. One of the most glaring needs during the wildfire was the ability to predict and monitor its progression in real time. Advances in satellite technology and artificial intelligence have already shown promise in this area. Yet the wildfire demonstrated the necessity of widespread adoption and refinement of these tools. Satellites equipped with thermal imaging sensors and AI-driven algorithms can detect hotspots and predict fire behavior with greater accuracy. Real-time data sharing, coupled with machine learning models, can allow emergency responders to deploy resources more strategically, saving lives and minimizing property loss. Drones emerged as another invaluable asset during the wildfire, showcasing their potential to revolutionize disaster response. Equipped with cameras and sensors, drones were used to map affected areas, assess damage, and even locate survivors in hard-to-reach places. Their ability to navigate through smoke-filled skies and access remote regions proved critical in providing real-time intelligence to firefighters and emergency teams. As drone technology continues to evolve, its role in disaster management will undoubtedly expand, offering new ways to combat fires and assist recovery efforts. Communication technology also took center stage. During the wildfire, traditional communication networks were often overwhelmed or destroyed, leaving many communities in the dark about evacuation orders and safety updates. This highlighted the need for resilient and adaptive communication systems. Mobile applications, SMS alerts, and emergency broadcasting systems that operate on decentralized networks or satellite-based platforms can ensure that critical information reaches affected populations even in the midst of chaos. Such technologies can save lives by providing timely warnings and clear guidance during fast-moving disasters. In addition to immediate response, technology offers opportunities for long-term mitigation and resilience. Innovations in building materials and design can make structures more fire-resistant, reducing the impact of future wildfires. Fire-retardant coatings, heat-resistant roofing, and advanced sprinkler systems can significantly decrease the vulnerability of homes and buildings. Smart cities, integrated with IoT sensors, can detect environmental changes, monitor fire risks, and trigger automated responses to contain potential outbreaks before they escalate. Equally important is the role of data in shaping future strategies. The wildfire generated vast amounts of information about fire behavior, environmental conditions, and response effectiveness. Harnessing this data through big data analytics can provide valuable insights into patterns and trends, enabling better preparedness and more efficient resource allocation. Governments, researchers, and private enterprises must collaborate to create centralized data platforms that support the continuous improvement of disaster management practices. The wildfire highlighted the necessity of investing in innovation and fostering partnerships between technology developers, governments, and communities. It demonstrated that the challenges of natural disasters cannot be addressed with traditional methods alone. By embracing cutting-edge technology and integrating it into every stage of disaster management, society can build a future where the devastating impact of such events is significantly reduced and the resilience of communities is strengthened. In the face of unimaginable devastation, the wildfire that scorched its place in history as America's worst was more than just a tragedy. It was a defining moment. It laid bare the fragility of our environment, the limits of our preparedness, and the depth of our interconnectedness. Yet, amidst the ashes, it also illuminated the extraordinary strength of the human spirit, the boundless power of unity, and the urgent call for innovation and change. This disaster was not just a reminder of nature's fury, but a catalyst for reflection and action. It challenged us to confront the realities of climate change, to strengthen our infrastructure, to prepare our communities, and to protect the natural world that sustains us all. It demanded that we embrace resilience, not just as individuals, but as a collective force, standing together in solidarity to rebuild what was lost and ensure a safer future. Let this wildfire serve as a turning point. Let it ignite in us a fire of determination, a commitment to honor those who suffered, to celebrate the courage of those who fought, and to answer the call for a better, more sustainable world. Together, we can transform this moment of tragedy into a legacy of resilience, compassion, and progress. From the ashes of destruction, we have the power to rise, stronger and more united than ever before. Thank you.